All right, boys, how we doing tonight? Commiss Sean here, coming at you with our last Monday night recap of the regular season. We got one matchup this evening that still has some playoff implications. We had three matchups over this weekend that really did have some big impact on the playoff seeding, and we're going to go over all three of those, leading off with Dennis and Bud. Dennis came away with a huge victory this weekend. The winner of that matchup automatically advanced. So Dennis locks up a playoff seed after missing last year. Dennis really had big games from Blake Bortles and also Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed, that tight end that he's been getting a lot of crap for. Bud really didn't have anybody do terrible this week, but he didn't have anybody outperform their projected totals. So Bud ends up with a pretty low point total. But if you look at his roster, I don't think he had anybody under 10 or 11 points. So really disappointing for Bud that nobody on his team could really step up, have a big game to keep it interesting. So big win for Dennis there. Next, we're going to move on to the matchup of myself versus Dave. The winner of this matchup needed some help in multiple different ways from the other matchups. Major impact from point totals. Dave, however, coming away with a big victory, putting up around 140 points, and also keeping pace ahead of Drew in the points category. That is huge for Dave because depending on the matchup between Drew and Adam this evening, Dave could be looking at sneaking into a playoff spot because of that higher point total than Drew. So big win for Dave this week. He, really had solid performances all around. Big performances from Cam Newton. Really some disappointments on my behalf. Would have been a lot closer had Andy Dalton not gotten hurt. But injuries, they happen. A lot of crazy injuries this weekend on both sides. So can't complain about it. But big victory for Dave. Congrats to Dave for winning this rivalry week matchup. Really gonna, be hoping and wishing that Adam can pull off a crazy victory this evening over Drew to sneak into that playoff spot. Now moving on to Drew and Adam. So we have a very, very tight game between the two gentlemen. As I previously mentioned, Drew could not keep pace with Dave for the point total. Should Drew had lost but put up more points than Dave, he still would have held the spot, but because of the very low score, if he does lose, he will be eliminated from the playoffs. Drew looked like a very dominant team in the middle of this season, but over the last 4 or 5 weeks, he has really struggled to put up big points. Currently sitting at about 100 points. He's really only going to put up about 110, 112 points with his current projections. And tonight's matchup comes down between Lamar Miller and Devontae Parker for Adam. So it's really going to come down to the two Miami guys. Miami on their second or third offensive coordinator. He really has leaned more towards Lamar Miller, but Parker has come on very strong in the past. The Giants have a very poor defense and in terms of stopping the run and also stopping the pass. But they do have a worse secondary than they do run stuffers. So things could go either way. Drew is projected for a victory, but with Miami, it's been pretty crazy this season. Crappy New York Giants defense. It really is anybody's game, and Drew needs this win for victory. So we will see what happens. Should Drew lose, he's out. Dave is in. Should Drew come in with a victory, the final two playoff spots will be Dennis and Drew, and we will see how the seedings fall. Really looks like a strong playoff class moving forward. Looking forward to see what happens tonight. Best of luck to all, and Godspeed, gentlemen. Say your prayers.